Hey everyone, it's Michael Kikle. I hope you're doing well today, and I have a video here to talk about a movie that I've never seen before, part of a series that I have seen before, and overall something I never grew up on, and that is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the second Michael Bay-themed live-action movie. I think he produced them. I don't remember. He didn't direct it, though. Out of the Shadows. Now, I saw the first one in theaters, and thought it was mostly a stinker. I thought it was better than a lot of the Transformers movies, but really not by much. Not even close to the ones I do love from Transformers series. But Out of the Shadows came out, and I remember working at a Big Lots, and eventually getting the toys that didn't sell from this movie thrown on our shelves, and just they sat there forever, dude. And I worked there like 3 years, so these things were sitting on the shelves for 3 years, dude. And I don't know if they ever got rid of them. I mean, they're out of business now, but still. Anyway, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, I had no hype for it, but I randomly saw it out somewhere. I think I was at like a thrift shop or a pawn shop, and I saw it for like $1 or 50 cents, and I grabbed it up on DVD and decided, you know what, I'm going to try this at some point. And just yesterday was the day to finally watch this movie. And I got to tell you, when I tell you that I was absolutely shocked by how much I liked this movie, dare say loved in some respects of it, I don't know how to tell you otherwise. I'm going to be honest with you. I really dug this, and I can't believe how it didn't really get a following, and that no one's common saying about this movie was that it was way better than the first film, as in the live-action movie. As in the Michael Bay film. TMNT had been live action for a while, as we all know. Now, for me, as I said, I never really was a TMNT guy. I loved the cartoon from the 2000s. I think it was 2003. I loved it when it was on TV. I really watched the shit out of that show. But I never saw any of the live-action films. I did play, I think it was Turtles in Time on the NES or SNES with my cousin. When we were growing up at Christmas and Thanksgiving, our families would get together and we'd play the hell out of that. That was my extent of knowledge about TMNT, because I never really was a massive fan of the idea. It was kind of the Dude Bro franchise for kids. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't Dragon Ball Z where everybody loved it. It wasn't, I mean, I guess in some ways TMNT everybody typically loved except for me. But I was into other stuff, you know what I mean? Like, I loved other American cartoons and stuff that were more prevalent, in my opinion, at the time. So I was never the biggest fan. But the older I got, the more I would hear things from people like Jeremy Johns on YouTube, and decided I would try out those movies, and I like them a lot. I especially love the 1990 movie. I think it's fantastic. Probably the best one ever. But this one is up there, like, right behind that for me. It really is. I enjoyed the shit out of this. Where do I even start? The whole tone of the movie seems so perfected compared to that first film this is the sequel to. It feels like everything from the Turtles to the general cast, the writing of jokes, the jokes themselves, all of that stuff was so much better. Despite the goofy casting choices, despite some of the things that felt very Nickelodeon, this being a Nickelodeon movie, I guess the place to start at is that we have Krang in this movie. And I don't really know a whole lot about him. But Krang frees Shredder, and this is like the real Shredder, not the piece of crap that we got from the first film. I'm pretty sure William Fichtner, or whatever his name was Shredder in that movie, if I remember correctly. Again, I have not seen it since it came out in the theaters like 11 years ago, so forgive me if I get that one stupid detail wrong. What's real weird is that Shredder in this movie is the villain, DK, from Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. Guess who just watched that last weekend? Yeah, I watched that, and then I put this on yesterday, and I was like, wait a second, is that guy? And it is. Brian T. or Tay or whatever. I didn't look up his name. Anyway, Shredder is free, and two convicts that were really big fans of his in the same transporting truck he gets freed from are Bebop and Rocksteady in their human form. One of them looks really familiar, and the other one is a WWE guy, Sheamus, from back in the day, which I was super excited to see him. Bebop and Rocksteady are characters that I have never liked, in my entire childhood of watching a little bit of the 80s cartoon, like I'm talking 2 episodes on a DVD, and the 2000s cartoon, I don't even remember if they were a part of it. I don't like these characters. Didn't like them in anything else I've ever seen or read. Yeah. So Bebop and Rocksteady I wasn't down for. Not gonna lie, super fun for this movie, especially towards the end when they're driving motorcycles and attacking Casey Jones, who is another casting choice we need to talk about. Casey Jones is an ex-cop in this movie. I don't know how faithful to the comics that is. I don't know anything about Casey aside from the old cartoon from the 2000s. But Stephen Amell, Green Arrow from the Arrow TV show, plays him. I didn't know how I felt about it at the time, and now I do have an opinion. He's not a good actor. Now, I think he's good on Arrow for what he had to do there as a CW show. But Casey Jones is so miscast here. Despite how I like that they have the hockey mask on him, they don't have him having long hair for some reason. I thought that was a little odd. He's not good in that role. He's just not. Tyler Perry is in this as Baxter, whatever his name is. I don't know his last name. Stockman? I don't know. Stuckman? Tyler Perry gives a better performance in this movie than Stephen Amell did. And I don't know how I would ever be able to say that. Tyler Perry and Stephen Amell being cast for this, despite me liking the Arrow TV show in its earlier few seasons, I guess up to season 5, I was a fan of him, but I was like, this movie's going to be bad because the first one was bad. Tyler Perry's in it. I had no reason to watch this at all, aside from just eventually experimenting. Here we are 9 years down the road. This thing came out in 2016, yeah? But Tyler Perry was better than Stephen Amell, and I can't believe that, man. What a weird situation. Megan Fox is back in this as April O'Neil. Will Arnett is that other reporter guy that I don't remember his name that took all the credit at the end of the first film for saving the city, and he's still not giving them any of their credit now. April O'Neil is still doing her thing. The Turtles are still kind of hanging out in the shadows, hoping that no one can find out who they are, what they're doing. But eventually, as the title says, they're brought out of the shadows to humanity. I know it sounds stupid. I know. But this is like a fun kids' Turtles movie. You know, I recently, probably about 8 months ago, I finally watched the CGI animated TMNT movie from like 2007. And hot take, I didn't like it that much. I thought it was alright. It had some really good scenes in it. Was not a big fan of it. A little surprised by the cast they were able to get for that film. Still not a big fan of it. Whereas I watched this and I'm like, this is like my second favorite Turtles movie now. You had the Technodrome in here, you had Krang, you had a really good version of Shredder, by the way, despite that guy not being a great actor either from Tokyo Drift. When he has to put on his Shredder voice and wear the helmet and stuff for like 2 seconds in the movie, it's pretty good. I really like Shredder in this flick. I like the costume. It's way better than that terrible whatever that was that I remember barely, the Silver Samurai or whatever from the first movie. But yeah, the jokes and whatnot are working so well in here. You kind of have hints of the 2007 animated movie in here, like with Raph and Leo having a big ego issue between themselves. Leo is talking to Splinter about how he doesn't think he can lead this team because maybe he's not a good enough leader or because they're so goofy, he can't really figure it out. But I like all the casting here. I don't know if they also recast the Turtles. They look a little different from the first movie, if I remember correctly. But I know like Johnny Knoxville, I think, was one of the Turtles in the first film, and that was barely highlighted on at all. And I love Johnny Knoxville. I don't think he's in this movie. I'm going to take a quick glance at my IMDb listing here. Yeah, no. Alan Ritchson plays Raphael, though. That's kind of wild. But yeah, I mean, they've pretty much recast everybody for the Turtles, which is kind of wild. But I like these guys who played them here, and I think it's because the script gives them a chance to shine and kind of stand out and be fun. There's so much pizza and skateboarding and stuff in this film. But dude, I really, really like this. And I don't know if you can tell with the smile in my mouth or whatever as I say these things, but not being a TMNT guy that much and then kind of getting into it, sort of, kinda, Um, and then having this movie fall into my lap and be as fun as it possibly could be. I don't know how to tell you, man. I really dug this. And it's not the same director as the first film either, which kind of stands out heavily with the directing style, the action sequences. The fights and stuff are really fun in here. I wish the turtles got to use their weapons a little bit more. But, you know, it is what it is. I think that was a Nickelodeon thing. I think I heard that about their cartoon they had on their show, too. Or their channel, I mean. The CGI animated cartoon. But, yeah, when it comes to TMNT Out of the Shadows, I had a really good time, man. Even the score they made for this movie was really good and fitting for it. It had this very 90s in 2016 feel, and I never thought I would ever see that coming out of this movie, going into it yesterday. Yeah, I loved the hell out of it. I thought it was a really good flick, man. If you haven't seen TMNT Out of the Shadows, because that first film from the Michael Bay team and, you know, wannabe filmmakers, if that movie rubbed you the wrong way, give this one a shot. I think you'll have such a good time watching it. It was everything I wanted from a TMNT modern-day movie, so definitely do that. Anyway, by the way, the look of the turtles, I do want to talk about that briefly. I was looking close at them, especially today as I finished up the movie because I couldn't finish it yesterday. Had some personal life stuff going on. The turtles, I kind of don't like how they have to just build their stuff out of scraps. I get that it's an interesting idea. But like Raph, one of the best turtles ever, Raphael has seatbelts around him, holding his, equipment and stuff to him. Yeah. Mikey wears rubber bands and shit around his hands. Raphael is wearing, UFC gloves. Like the padding of them without the finger holes. He's wearing that on his fists. Leo, I forgot what he had on, but it was like, I don't know, it was some kind of strap. It wasn't like a seat belt like Raphael, but it was something else. That's a little odd. I understand they're having to use trash, because there's not a whole lot of materials to work with down in the sewers. But I don't know if I like that. It kind of looks shitty. I get the detailing of it. I appreciate the animators for coming up with ideas like that. Not a bad idea at all. I just don't know how I like that design. I also feel like the turtles are smaller in this movie than the first film. I feel like that's a weird thing that I barely remember. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's something else I noticed too. Anyway, what do you think about TMNT Out of the Shadows? Did you like this? Did you hate it? Let me know everything you think down below, because I really want to see more people talk about this film. I can't believe people didn't say the things I think about this movie. TMNT fan or not, because this seems like a massive improvement in so many ways. Anyway, thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.